Hello RZ enthusiast, it's Carter here at Eastside Restorations in beautiful Vancouver, and we are going to start day one with the RZ500 Restoration. A friend of mine brought me his RZ500 and we are going to restore it from the ground up. It looks like this was stored in a barn for about 30 years at least, I would say. So. The definition of ridden hard and put away wet. Throttle cables are seized solid. YPVS cables are seized solid. The front fairing bracket is broken in half. And there's not one mounting tab on it that is straight. Every single one of them is bent. Every one. And the gauge cluster as well. Every tab bent. Clearly the motorcycle was crashed and the front end took some damage, and they bothered to fix it right here, but then it broke here, and they didn't bother to straighten any of the bent areas, which is why the fairing was sitting on there so weird. I've started the process of repairing it, and I'm going to do the welding right now because everything you see here is going to be torn down and rebuilt and restored. So I'm going to do the welding before that gets underway so that I don't damage anything with a spark or what have you on fresh paint or newly restored parts. So here we go. To repair this, I've found myself a couple of pieces of tubing. They fit the inside diameter of this tubing. So I've drilled a hole in both sides so that I can get a tack weld on the tubing that we insert. And then on the other side of the stay, we've done the same thing. Now I'm going to insert like so, weld both holes, weld around, and then do the same thing on the bottom side, and then I'll be able to grind the welds off around the center without worrying about losing strength. And that's, I think, the proper way to repair a bracket. If you don't put a piece of tubing in there before you do your welding, you're just asking for a weak stay that is going to break probably within a year. And the way I'm going to start is I'm going to bolt the gauge cluster on, and I'm going to bolt the headlight on, and then do my tack welds. That way I know that the stay is in approximately the proper position, and after that I can bend as needed. So we're back, and I'm done with the initial tack welds on this front fairing stay, and I will now remove it, finish off all the welding, grind it all, make it look as nice as I can, and then get it back on the bike and straighten all the tabs out where they need to be exactly. And then from there, I can start to tear the motorcycle down further. And I'm going to do that tomorrow morning. But for now, you can see that we now have our piece welded together, spot weld and spot weld where the holes were. Same thing down here, and a weld part way around. I have a weld on the back side as well, so that it, or a tack weld, so that it will stay in position when I remove it. And as you can see, it's fairly straight. I mean, it's gonna need some tweaking for sure, but you know, once we get everything together, we'll see if it turns out to be a keeper. If not, then we'll just end up buying a new one, but I think I can get this in the shape that it needs to be. So we're gonna finish off with the tear down tomorrow, and we'll get a little bit of video from that. Until then, have a great day, and we'll see you soon. It's Carter here at Eastside Restorations in beautiful Vancouver. Day 2 of the RZ500 Restoration project. And as you saw from the previous video, if you were watching, we found a bunch of where the tool kit is. And here's the tool kit. I power washed the bag and I've let it sit for a couple of days. And you can see what the mice did to it. And now I've just started the disassembly of the bike after power washing it. And the first thing I was taking off was the air box. And look at what we find here. Oh, someone had a grand old time in here. Just laying low inside that air box. Filling the carbs with food. Okay, I went and I got my headlamp for a bit of a better view. Just look at how much food that this little guy had packed in here. Nice warm little home. Let's see what we have. Oh, look at that. Steel curly cues from drilling remnants. That's not a very soft bed. It is just jammed up in here. How many of them were living in here? All right, I'm gonna get the other side off and we'll see how bad it is. But yeah, that carb doesn't look good. But, you know, a good vapor blasting. And okay, so I got the other side off and it looks like they were pooping on one side and eating and sleeping on the other. This is the perfect motorcycle for mouse to take up in. Look, he's storing food in the carburetors. He's taking in one side of the air box and he's eating and sleeping on the other side of the air box and storing more food in that air box. So that's a lot of poop in there, so I'm going to pull that out of there in one piece so that I can take it outside. I already took the other piece outside because I don't want a bunch of mouse poop in my garage, and it's full of it on this side. Now I'm just gonna hose all of this stuff out of here. Food, poop, resting place. All right, as I suspected, It's all 4 slides in the carburetors that are just seized solid. The cables are actually pretty good, totally salvageable. So that's good news combined with horrible news. All right, so that is it for day 2 on the RZ500 Restoration. So far I've done power wash, and I fixed the front stay for the fairing, got rid of all the mouse house, and started with the disassembly. So tomorrow we'll be ready to pull the motor out of it. All right, we'll see you then.